call it an art park rather than a sculpture park because we want to integrate, all the arts. Music, dance. I mean, we're chiefly sculpture, but we want all these other things too, because it's all part of the experience, the cultural experience. So there's 6 sculptures this year. We had 6 last year, and I guess six seems to be our magic number, that come and they work a week or 2 on site installations. The amazing thing is that these sculptors, when they get together, these artists, how much fun they have working together, and just the exchange of ideas. And this is a private corporation. We had offered this land to municipalities and various things, and they all thought it was a great idea, but they said it was more than they could take on. So we had a group of friends, we called them the steering committee, and that was in 1991, I think.
Yeah, 91.
And we got out about 150 letters explaining what we wanted to do. We sent them out, and we got 80 replies, and all but I think 10 or 12 were very enthusiastic and said, go ahead, we will support you. So we went ahead and incorporated, and here we are. We have people here every day, and inquiries, as Bob said, from artists from all over the world who want to come. And it's an idea that's time has come, because in Denmark last September, they opened a park like this on an island, and 2 of the artists who were here in our inaugural exhibition were invited to go there. So it's getting to be a one world kind of thing. He's a sculptor from Colorado, Mary Ellen Lane, and she has covered these rocks with paper, and then there's little symbols of things under each one, little sticks and little fossils.
People submitted their work, about 40 people. So there's quite a number to choose from. And they were from all over the world, really. We got them from foreign countries as well as all over the United States. The people we'll see and working in the woods are from Texas. You can see some of the things that she's putting in her paper, the little figures and worms and fossils and so forth.
This kind of thing that Mary Ellen has done, when children come through the park, they particularly like to gather things. Now, all children are collectors, but most people say, put that away or don't do something. Well, we encourage it for them to see these beautiful things, and I think these various collection bowls that Mary Ellen has, you see, is on that idea. And on this side, she has drawings, but on the other side of these, there are quotations that all are, again, things that you would contemplate, Thoreau and various things, so that you're here walking in the woods, seeing all of these things that will be things to think about. There's another sculpture that goes from there through the woods, but it doesn't show very much from here. You can just see one stake. That's from a sculptor from Vermont. It seems to be about the waste and the trashing of our landscape, and the trashing of things. And seeing that next to this bucolic little pond is quite a startling thing. And he wants it to collect bugs and flies and just be this one little corner of desolation here. I think this is a glorious view. And there will be a sculpture right over in there this year. And Gail Scott White's piece was here last year, Dora and Lucy. Originally there was just a sort of a cow path coming up here, but everybody picnicked here. It was the picnic place. And let's just about two or 3 years ago, we thought, you know, when we're gone, they're going to lose this picnic place. So that was behind our wanting to do this, not only to save this very special place, but also artists, sculptors particularly, have such a difficult time finding a place to work and to exhibit their work. And since I am a sculptor and had a studio, it was a natural, you know, to want to continue and give that to artists to use to save the land. Bob, with his big tractor, has put trails that go all through the pine wood, and these trails are here for everybody to use. It's open all winter. People come and cross-country ski, but I can't guarantee you'll get up the hill. This big field is going to be in sorghum grass, and as it grows, when it gets taller and the wind goes through it, it makes a beautiful moire pattern. So that will be part of the experience of being here, just seeing all of these things. Every summer we have a changing exhibit, and that usually is from June till October, and then that is taken down. Some of it stays all winter, but then we'll have permanent things, and then every summer a new show. You know, we kind of plan it so it flows. And then we will gradually have a permanent collection, and that will be around mostly in the woods and on the paths, so there'll always be something here. And then we have a general theme, like this year they were nearly all environmental things we were looking for. Next year it may be something else. And then artists send in resume and slides. And then John Noriega was a juror this year, and he chose the artist. We don't. We don't interfere in any way with the juror. It's his choice. But we do make sure that the juror has the feeling of what we're trying to accomplish here, that we are looking for contemporary art, and we're looking for very creative artists who really need to go on and develop what they're doing. Because, you know, you go to art school or you get started, but then that next step is a tremendous one. You need some place where you can be free to develop things and make mistakes if you want. We designed and built our own house, and Bob did most of the carpentry and I did most of the masonry. It's twice as wide in the front and twice as high because we wanted to open out to that glorious view, and then it comes back in a wedge, and then your eye follows that from the house and follows along the garden paths out this way, so that the outdoors, the landscaping is a part of the house, the whole kind of thing. And then the six-sided room on the side we call the pavilion, that has a music room and art library, and that will all be part of the art park. Well, it is now, in fact. We're giving all of our property and all of our buildings, all of our furnishings, all of our everything to the art park. This room we have seminars in here and musicals. It's amazing. We can get about 60 people in this room. And we have gallery lighting. So this will all, I say it will be, it already is, it's being used. Like the students from Cornell were here last year on a project. I think that more and more are concerned about the world and the environment. They're very, very serious about it. And one of the purposes of art, of course, is to make visible, you know, the world we live in or within us. And for a long time, art was more just a decorative thing. But now they're very, very serious. They want to show the world we're in, the good and the bad. And a lot of people are very upset when they see that artists doing rather, well, they're really powerful things. But these are things that are happening in the world today that need to be brought into focus and attention. People should think of giving back. You know, when you've received so much, you know, in your community and from everything, then I think that you must give things in return. You can't be a taker all the time. I say this to many people who don't like contemporary art or don't understand it. Every single thing that you do, you can find it in nature. This is my studio, and the front part of it I used for drafting before we started the park, but now it's the office for the art park, and then we call this the art barn. Bob's story on that was he needed a barn for his tractor and all of these things, so I said, why don't you join it to the studio, and then you'll have the water and the heat and everything. And he didn't realize I was taking it over for an art barn.
A lot of the little things you see here are sketches of work that she's done. So she's got several pieces in Chicago, suburbs of Chicago, and she mentioned St. Louis and some in Philadelphia, Long Island, several pieces on Long Island.
This one is I keep because it's one of the first ceramic sculptures I did, I think, 50 years ago. So that was a long time, long ago. Yes, it was 50, maybe 54 years ago. It was a long time ago. It was during the Second World War, I know, because I fired it in a brick kiln. This is Bob standing looking over the world. Artists are beginning to donate work to the park. This is one of Roger Mack's. He was head of the School of Visual Art at Syracuse. And that's called Hallelujah Handle. And he's given 2 pieces to the art park. And so we gradually will have sculpture everywhere. I was approached to do a sculpture for the Lincoln Bank, and at first I said no, I couldn't do it because everybody's done Lincoln, and how do you do Lincoln? So I read and I thought really Lincoln has become a folk figure. And to people, he's this tall, striding man in a long coattail. And so I thought I'll do it not as a traditional kind of thing. I'll do it with that folk figure approach. I like the people. I like just the gesture that people make, like that one and that copper one over there. I do quite a number of things, sort of abstract of people doing certain things. This was one of mine. I did a show a couple years ago all based on kind of construction from neighbor. This is called By the Pond. And I like to sit out in the evening by my little pond, and there are all kind of little noises there, so that there are little eyes all through that to make little chirping sounds. When you believe in something, you do it. I think that every day should be, live it to the fullest and do something and not just sit. And I think that so many people live their whole life with never ever doing what they thought they would like to do. They would say, well, I wish I had done this, or I wish I had. I think you should do. And sometimes it doesn't work, but you've done it, so on to the next. So I think that's how you should live.